back to episode 2 of the Think Successfully Room. I am your host, QB So Effing Amazing, and we have a special guest for y'all today, a person who is passionate when it comes to leading his patients to their full potential when talking about both health and happiness. He saw the power of chiropractic during a medical mission trip in Nicaragua, Central America. Yep. Man, my fault, I almost messed that pronunciation up. After that, he learned how it could impact the people's lives. This is a guy that believes that anybody is capable of living their life the way that they want to live with the help of spinal corrections, therapeutic exercise, mental health, and just the proper nutrition. Right on the side of me, we have the one and only Dr. Johnny Kirk, y'all.
Thank you so much, Quatavian, for having me, man.
Appreciate you, man.
It's been awesome. Thank you for having me on the show, man. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, for sure, man. So as we was discussing, so when it comes to, chiropractic, what's the main keys, or why is it mainly beneficial for somebody to have?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, because most people with chiropractic care, their minds immediately go to either pain. They're seeing these TikTok videos online and people getting snapped and cracked and popped, and realistically, pain's a good motivator, right? I mean, headaches, neck pain, back pain, those are the top 3 reasons why people here in America today seek chiropractic care. But it surprises some people. Something like with you that you noticed was, yes, your pain got better, but things that you don't go to the chiropractor for typically improve, right? Better energy, better sleep, less stress. And so ultimately with chiropractic, it's more than just snap, crack, and pop. It's allowing that innate intelligence, that innate healing capability that we all have in our bodies to maximize to the full potential that they desire.
Yeah, man, it's I can honestly say I'm not really sure exactly what made me come to a chiropractor to begin with. All I know is I was having back pains, lower back pains when I first started to come. But when I came and you gave me that first adjustment, I learned the many different benefits of aligning your body with your intelligence. And ever since, I would say, because at one point I was coming every week getting adjusted, right? And I can honestly say, ever since I started getting my spine aligned, my energy levels have been a lot higher. And because of that, I grew to become more productive throughout the day. And that was more important to me because at some point, prior to me getting adjusted, it was times I was feeling sluggish. I knew I had stuff to do throughout the day, but I couldn't do it because of the fact that I just didn't have the energy to.
Right.
So since I when I began coming to get my body adjusted, like my spine and everything, it definitely helped my energy levels and gave me a lot more productive energy to go throughout the day.
Which is great. I mean, ultimately, like, you come in for pain, one of my first thoughts is like, all right, I got to make sure you're not in pain, right? We got to take pressure off the discs. We got to take pressure off the nerves. But as we remove that pressure from your body, from your spine, from your nervous system, magic starts to happen, right? That designed intelligence, because you're made to do anything that you want. Like, people don't understand, from the day you're born till now, everything you've done has had an effect on your spine, right? And so if you start to invest, and it's an investment, right? Don't view it as a cost. If you invest in your body and you start to notice the things that you're doing to take pressure off your mind, your body, your soul, and you notice things are happening, it's more than just pain. It's about making Quatavian, making myself, making any person I work on that best version of themselves, ultimately. So
when your patients come in here and you ask them that question, like, what do you feel different? What's the common answer?
A lot of times it's like more mobility, right? They always, oh man, I got more motion in my back, my spine, my neck than I have ever had. So motion's a big thing. I mean, motion is medicine. If we're not moving, we're dying. So motion, so motion is the key to all things when it comes to the spine adjustments. But then it's more than that, because I want to look at, do you have better breathing? How'd you sleep that night? How'd you wake up in the morning? So if I can notice someone's moving more, they do have a reduction in pain, and then something neurological, right? Everyone's different, so it could be different for you is going to be different to this person, even if I give you guys both the same adjustment. And seeing where that neurological change comes into play, that's really where I get excited, because you're knowing you're impacting that person's nervous system, which controls everything in their body.
I like that, because that makes you think, because one thing I'm against is going to the hospital. I don't like going to the doctors.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I just don't like nothing about going into a doctor's office. So if I could sit here and give my body what it needs in order for my body to heal itself, because like you said, that's what it's capable of doing. It's almost like how we got a scab, we fall and scrape our leg or something, and our skin grow back over time.
Exactly.
Our body is, like our inner world is capable of doing that same thing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So the moment I learned the importance of chiropractic care, and I was like, the body is capable of healing itself through that,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm glad I came to you, or just came here, period, and then I was appointed to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do, whether you're spiritual or not, I do fully believe that it's God's plan, and right place, right time, right connection with the right person. But I'm like you too, right? So the hospital system, you know, I used to work in the ER. I used to think that I was going to be one of those medical doctors, and it really wasn't until what I actually saw what is happening to healthcare. Like, this is pre-COVID. This is 2015, and you look at the system now, and I love the nurses and the doctors. They're busting their butt trying to help people, but it's definitely changing. And I think the society is seeing they're trying to take health into their own hands. And if you can take the power back, you can take power into your own freedom here of health. That's what I'm looking for people to get.
Not to cut you off just by you saying that. And we stay in a time where information is it's unlimited.
Unlimited.
Like, whatever it is you want to know to be able to heal yourself, you're capable of going to search for that information.
It's out there.
So that just sparked a thought in my mind when you said that. And another thing, I didn't see that in the bio. You worked at a hospital?
Yeah. So I worked in the ER when I was 21, 22 years old, and I worked the night shift as the scribe. So I worked in the emergency room, and I would dictate all the notes for the doctors on that shift. And it was wild, because I did see lives get saved, right? Like, here in America today, if you have a big accident, you have the best chance of having your life saved. But what I saw on the other hand was chronic conditions, chronic pain, mental health, drug problems, pill problems. People were going to the hospital for that, leaving with a big bill, more drugs, and no answers. And I saw a problem with that. So that's really where I made the mental shift to, how am I going to impact the medical system? How am I going to impact people without doing it the old way? I want to find the new way, and that's when chiropractic got introduced to my life.
Man, that's because I noticed that by a lot of doctors, man, they really don't care as far it's just a check to them. You know, it's all about the money. They really don't care exactly. Like, if you was to come in there and say you got a back pain or something like that, they gonna give you some painkillers and send you on your way.
Exactly.
You know, and it's crazy. A lot of people don't chiropractic care don't pop up in their head. A lot of people, it's kind of one of them things, like, you have to know the importance of it.
Right.
Because I have ran into a lot of guys that told me, like, yeah, chiropractic is this and chiropractic is that. It was all negative. It was negative energy towards it.
Opinion based, right?
Yeah. So it took me to come in here with an opinion of my own and actually see for myself.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know what the negative criticism was about. Sure. But I'm glad that I came in here and got that did, man.
Hey, I'm glad you came too, man, because I know with the things that you went through and the trials and the tribulations, your test became the best testimony for chiropractic, and that's why we're here right now, man. So that's great. That's great.
Man, so the central nervous system, essentially, that's, man, I think that's a hot topic to me, man. That's a fire topic, man. So if you don't mind, we gonna just coat the office red real quick. You know what I'm saying? So
hot topic, man.
Your CNS.
Yep.
Is your central nervous system. Yep. Essentially, that's your spine, right?
Yeah. So your central nervous system is your brain, your brainstem, and then your spinal cord, which is then protected by your skull and then your spine itself.
Right. So in order for your organs to be able to function the way that they should be able to, right? Your central nervous system has to be aligned so that it can communicate with the peripheral nervous system.
Exactly. It's allows like for your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, your stomach to digest the food you're eating for dinner tonight. Signals get sent from your brain, through your brain, sent down that spinal cord, out to every nerve, tissue, cell. And so if there's ever an impingement, an interference, we call it a subluxation as a chiropractor. A subluxation is a term that shows that that vertebrae, that bone in your spine is shifted and putting pressure on the brainstem or the spinal cord or the nerves, and that has an impact. Now, only 10% of your nerves actually feel pain. So people talk about a pinched nerve and they immediately go to pain, but it depends on what part of the central nervous system is impacted. Some might have pain, some might have a breathing problem, some might have high blood pressure. It all depends on where that central nervous system is impacted.
So if a nerve is being pinched or having a breathing problem, that can indicate pain?
That can indicate pain. That can indicate where, as a chiropractor, if they have a breathing problem, it indicates more than likely where that problem is, right? So we have a few sayings that helps us understand, like C3, C4, C5. You got 7 bones in your neck, so C3, C4, C5, it keeps the diaphragm alive. So I'm immediately looking, someone's got breathing problems. Is it a problem with the diaphragm, or is it a problem with the nerves that are going to the lungs then too? So just like all things, you gotta see what the person's been through and then figure out how is their central nervous system being impacted, whether it's their job, their lifestyle, it could be anything.
Man, yeah, that's definitely a big one, man, because a lot of people have a labor that causes them to do a lot of bending and a lot of lifting, and I can see where those pinched nerves come in play.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the peripheral nerve or just your organs,
right,
are you able to go into detail for me and them and really explain how like this can really help cure diseases?
Yeah, of course. So you made a good point, right? So you have the central nervous system and then the peripheral nervous system, which is all the nerves that leave your central nervous system. They kind of spanned out, right, like a tree with branches.
Right.
And then those nerves go to every organ. I mean, they go to your big toe, they go to your heart, they go everywhere. And so when I look at the neurological effect from something, that's where if someone can have numbness in their hands, that means wherever those nerves are going in their body are also affecting those vital organs, right? So a big epidemic nowadays, it is diabetes. A big epidemic is cardiovascular health. I'm seeing more and more people with heart arrhythmias and heart problems and vessel problems that are younger than you and I. And whether it's from something that they're taking or the new age with health, what it comes down to is I see the impact of their peripheral nervous system and their central nervous system negatively impacted, which then leads down to, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be a year from now, it could be 5-10 years from now, that they have a pinch and pressure on their spine that doesn't show up right away. It's like a silent killer. And that's where people start to have more problems as they age because they can't heal as fast. They can't have the right nutrition or lifestyle. So then that's when problems start to occur. But this problem started when this young person was maybe 18, 20, when they thought they could bounce back from it, and they don't. So it's figuring out when did the problem happen, how often can you affect it, but ultimately, how do you take enough pressure off this person's nervous system to let the healing begin? That's what it comes down to.
And that's important because, like we were saying, like the body is capable of healing itself. So it's all about finding where the problem is, fixing the problem, and allowing your body to do what it was designed to do. You know, and on top of giving it, you know, consuming the things that's good for the body.
Right.
You know, because it go hand in hand. You know, you can't just, you know, try to adjust the body and then still continue to eat bad things, right? You want to adjust the body and consume the things that the body needs to begin healing itself.
Right. And so as we're at Max Living here, right? So Max Living Chiropractic's the foundation, but we look at nutrition, we look at detox in the body, we look at health and fitness, we look at mindfulness. We try and cover all bases because it could be any one of those avenues that is negatively impacting it, but you could do all the best things, all 4 of those categories, but if you have a subluxation, you have a misalignment that's impinging that central nervous system or that peripheral nervous system, there's always going to be a negative effect on it.
Yeah, so you gotta correct. They have to be corrected.
Yeah.
One can't be miscorrected. And then
Exactly.
it don't work. Yeah.
Well, but that's what's great is with your case the same thing, right? So you had to have more frequency early on to remove that subluxation or that pressure off your nervous system. Now that you're in better alignment, you're able to maintain it with coming, let's say, twice a month, but then you're refocusing now on, all right, how's my nutrition, right? You did the nutrition with our nutritionist here. You start to approach different avenues to once again invest in your health.
That's Mackenzie, right?
Mackenzie, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and turn these back blue real quick, man. Yeah. So Mackenzie, she brought up something that was interesting to me. So when I was talking to her as far as what I needed to eat to be when I discussed my problems, she brought up the fact that the soil that our food, like our vegetables and our vegetables and fruits is coming out of, is low quality. So we not receiving the nutrients that we need, like all of them.
Yeah.
So we have to get those supplements in order to get all the nutrients that our body needs on a daily basis.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy to think about. Like you're thinking the food that is being grown nowadays is like, all right, even if it's organic, right, or you got this organic fruits and vegetables, it comes from the soil. And so it's over years, decades of farmers like using either pesticides or ringing up this soil, like it doesn't have that same nutrient density than it was maybe 100 years ago.
Right.
And so you may be thinking I'm getting all this food, and it's not only what you take, but it's what your body's absorbing. And a lot of times what people take, they're not absorbing the key nutrients that their body needs from just the normal food sources or even the normal supplements they may get outside of a health clinic like this.
Man, so what's your take on people assuming that a lot of their protein comes from meat products?
Yeah, so that's a hot topic, right? Because there's so many different diets out there. There's the we're getting hot. This is a hot topic.
Yeah,
it's a hot topic.
For sure, man.
So when it comes to protein intake, right? So it all depends on where they're getting it from and then what's the quality of it, right? Like, so I do this talk at the YMCA called the Daniel Plan, and it kind of looks into like where you can get your sources of either fasting or nutrition. But protein in itself, like if you're gonna go to the store and just get your red meat and just say, all right, I'm gonna get this, you're not gonna absorb any of it, right? So there's so much times that they have carbon monoxide. They carbon monoxide the meat to help it turn more red. So it looks like it's going to be that more red source of clean protein. Like, is it grass-fed or is it fed from just antibiotic-filled soil? Like, it all depends. Anything anything that cow is going to eat, or if they give that cow antibiotics or steroids or anything, you're going to consume it, right? So anything that's going into that animal then gets processed and then you eat, there's toxins in it, right? So we always tell people, if you're gonna make a change in one thing when you go to the grocery store, you're like, hey, I'm gonna start eating healthy, the first change should be you're buying better, higher quality protein, because that's where you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. It's worth the extra money to spend at higher protein.
And that come from a little research is sourcing exactly where you need to be buying your products from, because a lot of people don't do that. You know, they go straight to the meat aisle and they purchase whatever is sitting there.
Well, they assume, right? I mean, that's the problem of assumptions. You think the people out there are trying to give you that best quality, but it's funny. You go to the store, what is more expensive, the healthy food or the processed food? The healthy food's more expensive. What is more available, the healthy food or the processed food? The processed food's always going to win because, once again, it comes down to money and where people are going to get that wealth from. It's sad, but it's true.
And they would actually slap a sign that say, I don't know, a healthier poor. They'll slap something on there just to make that sale.
You gotta look at what you're buying. You gotta look, because it's funny. It's like health doesn't make dollars, but it makes sense, right? So as much as being healthy makes sense, you got to make sure that you're not getting the old bait and switch and going to be getting something that might be harmful for yourself or your kids, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's a big one, man. That's a big one. I try to ever since I've been coming here, and I've been eating healthier, I've been trying to get my little brothers, my siblings, because they, I'm like a role model to them.
Right,
So
right.
whatever they see big bro doing, that's what they gonna do.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those domino effects. Like my mom wasn't so, I don't want to buy this or I don't want to buy that, but when she see us doing it, now she want to buy the same things for the kitchen that she see us buying. So I would actually say that's a big one. Like if you somebody that's trying to make a better adjustment as far as your lifestyle, and you try to verbally tell somebody like, look, this is what you need to do, and they not following, they not following suit.
Right.
The best thing you could do is kind of like set an example. And then 9 times out of 10, they gonna follow exactly what you doing.
Yeah, it's that domino effect, man. And we see it with families all the time, but that's awesome, man. And with your family too, man, you're the leader. You're the leader in that family then, and that's what I want people to be that come here, is to leave here being the leader of health, and then they pass it on to their families, and then it's that domino effect, their families, their friends. Man, we're just trying to impact the Rockford community, man. That's really what it's all about. We want to give, we want to serve. For us, it's not about money. It's about how many people we can help to be the leaders in their family. When it comes to taking freedom into health, take back the health freedom and be that leader in your family.
Man, I'm going to definitely, man, because I love this office, man. I love the energy in here, man. Dr. Johnny, man.
Hey.
Mackenzie, the whole team, man. I definitely appreciate y'all, man. Anybody out there, Chiropractic of Rockford.
That's right,
That's
man.
the place to be.
Let me just say, we're at 863 South Perryville Road in Building 100. Our number is 779-423-2044. And if you mention this podcast, I'll pre-guarantee that your first visit will be capped at $25, and we'll love to take care of you and your families.
Man, that's fire. That's fire. Before we close out, let me turn these back, man. That's fire, man. So without that being said, the first episode, we didn't have no outro, but I got an outro today. Dr. Johnny, I appreciate you for this, man. So for everybody out there, man, life is good. Life is wonderful. Be blessed to be alive. Self-sufficiency is how you survive. To the kings and queens and gods and goddesses, forever and always, think successfully. Dr. Johnny, man, appreciate you, man. We gonna close it out just like that, man.
Thank you, Tavian. Thank you so much.